Before we begin the installation of your projector box, and mat system, we're going to install some of the accessories that you may have purchased that we sell separately. For starters, we sell separately the additional pie-shaped side panels that go from the side panel of the impact screen down to the floor, as you can see installed here. Also, if you've purchased an additional piece of turf that goes from the mat system to the screen, you need to install that now. Another accessory that's often purchased is a touchscreen monitor. That will be installed the very last thing you do after your simulator is already up and running. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and begin the installation of the ramp system on the bottom of the projector box. You place the ramp on the bottom of the projector and use the thumb screws provided to secure the ramp to the bottom of the projector. Now we're going to ensure that the projector is centered within the screen. And if we don't, we're going to have images on the screen that look distorted as if one corner is higher than the other. And what we're going to do is we're going to take half of your screen width, and that screen width is the white portion of the screen only. And we're going to measure, and we're going to put the lens in the center of that measurement. Next, we're going to measure the distance the projector is away from the screen. But before we give you this measurement, please note that this measurement is just a guideline. Projector companies regularly discontinue models. Throw ratios change, we often change brands, and projectors can actually produce a different size image depending on the computer you're actually using. So once you actually install the projector and mat system and turn everything on, the first thing you're going to try is zooming your image out to fill the screen. If it doesn't fill the screen at that point, you're going to have to scoot your projector back until it fills the screen. For those of you who have limited room depth, you're going to end up with a limited image size that won't fill the screen. However, that will not affect the performance of your golf simulator. Now, getting back to that measurement, the measurement from the screen to the center of the lens is approximately 8 feet 8 inches. Now we are going to install the surge protector, and we're just going to place it right behind the projector. Next, we're going to install the power cord for the projector. So we're going to insert one end into the projector and the other end into the surge protector. Next, we're going to install the HDMI and plug the HDMI in one of the ports of the projector, and then place the other end of the HDMI into your computer. And now we're going to look at some of the settings that's going to help you get your image from your projector squared to your screen. And the first thing we have to do is get the projector positioned properly, as you can hang it on the ceiling, you can put it behind the screen, you can put it in front. And in this instance, we're going to look for a projector position. It may say it, or there might even be a picture of front table. And we're going to put it on that, and then all of a sudden you should be able to see everything upright and not backwards. And next, we're going to look for aspect ratio. In our widescreen version of a studio, the aspect ratio is going to be 16:9, and in the smaller version, it's going to be 4:3 aspect ratio. Once we set the projector position and aspect ratio, we can now use the digital zoom feature, if that projector has one, to increase the size of the image to fill the screen. And as we discussed before, Once we exhaust the digital zoom, we may have to back the projector up physically to get the image to fill the screen. Next, we're going to look to adjust the keystone. And what the keystone does, if an image is projected at an angle to a screen, we have to use keystone to square that image up. So you can negative keystone or positive keystone to get your image square. And in our instance, most likely, you're going to have to negative keystone the image to get it square. Finally, many projectors have a feature called Grid that you can turn on to assist you in helping you line up your screen to get your image to fill the entire screen. If you have any other problems with your projector, please consult your manual. Now we're going to install the projector box over the projector, but first we have to plug both of the fans into the surge protector. And once we place the projector box over the projector, we have to be very careful not to scratch the lens on the projector with the projector box. Also note there's a little room in front of the projector and behind the projector in the projector box. This will allow you to move the box a little bit forward if you're looking to get your mat system closer to the screen. You can move it forward until the projector box starts casting a shadow over the lens. Next, we're going to begin the installation of the mat system. And we're going to place one side down, and then we're going to duplicate that on the other side. And then finally, we're going to place the center section of the mat in the center. Now, we're going to begin tidying up all the wires. And you'll notice on the side of the projector box, there are two holes. And you can choose to have the wires come out either hole. Most people will prefer to have the wires come out the back side of the projector box. And that'll allow them to slide the wires up to the front of the mat system or even underneath the mat system. This would also be a good time to mention that during use, the mat system can move a little bit. And often, people will use Velcro, double-sided tape, or non-slip rug pads. Now that the studio has been installed, you're going to watch the video specific to the installation of your particular golf simulator or launch monitor.